If you caught my live yesterday, thank you for watching. It was definitely a raw, vulnerable share and something I typically like I'm good at leaning into the vulnerability, but not typically to that extent. So it was definitely a decision in the moment. Because what I really notice about my mindset and the people I coach and my friends is, we're really good at talking about it after. So Glennon Doyle has a saying like, speak from your scars, not from your wounds. And I really do love that because there's a lot of perspective that happens. And I think there's some value to talk about things in those moments as well, just making it completely authentic and real and saying, like, this is what it's like when I'm doing lots of book quotes this morning, but this is what I'm doing when, um, like Brene Brown will say, like, I'm face down in the arena. She has a book and it's called Rising Up, and it's about when you fall, like you show up, you're in the arena, you're doing the thing, and you fall. Because if you are brave enough, often enough, you're gonna fall down. And so, and falling down isn't bad. I think that's the other thing I just want to mention. Like, it's it's just math. It's just math at that point where it's just will eventually happen. So notice when we're in those spaces of like, shit, here I am. And I just wanted to share because I was suspecting this would happen. I was hoping, and also not being attached to it, but wanted to share the evolution of my day yesterday. And knowing that when I woke up, well, Monday also and Tuesday, I woke up with a funk, like with I was just calling it crusty. I noticed I was crusty. I was feeling away, like I say, and I couldn't really pinpoint, especially on Monday. I couldn't pinpoint what the way was. And instead of judging it, instead of judging myself, I just allowed it to happen, allowed the waves to come through. So on Tuesday, knew I was clear. I was on my walk, and I got my thoughts and my feelings moving in my body. And I noticed that I was sad, I was emotional, I was feeling frustrated and overwhelmed. And so the first thing I did was ask myself. So the first step I did was be. I wanted to just be with me, be with my thoughts, be with my feelings, and feel them. Now, before I go too deep down this, I just want to bring home a really important point between doing and being. So, I don't know if you've heard this or you haven't heard this before. What I would say today, what I would say is this thought. We as humans, we're very human doings instead of a human being, and that is fix it, change, shift, do something to make the feeling go away. And I subscribe to that. I love that. I love that I can choose my thoughts, I can choose my feelings, but I also start with my ways of being. And a way of being is what is the feeling that I am either feeling and or looking to create the feeling I want to be feeling because I can choose it and take an action. So traditionally we say I want to make $1 million. Let's just say that's your thought. So I have to do something in order to have $1 million, and then I'll be happy. So I'm going to build my business, have $1 million, be happy. So do, I always get this confused because I always know that, like, do, have, be. That's our traditional mentality in the society. Not everybody has this, but it's definitely very common. And instead, we flip the script and say, what if I be happy, then I do the action, and then I have the thing? So really flipping it on its head to say be, do, and then have. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being and doing, and also the thoughts that we can just choose how we want to feel. Okay. So with that, I will just say yesterday, I started with my being. How do I want to be? How do I want to feel? Because I know it's a choice, and it's not always something that I can feel like I can choose in the moment, but at least I can presence myself. Okay, if I want to feel calm, and want to feel joyful, and I noticed there's a contrast. So in that moment yesterday morning, I was not feeling either of those things. I'm like, how am I feeling right now? I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay, cool. Not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just how I'm feeling in this moment. And it's not how I want to be feeling. I have different feelings that I want to be feeling. So I just allow those feelings to come. So just allow the sadness, the frustration, the overwhelm to be in my body for a few minutes or longer, depending. Me, it was longer than a few minutes yesterday. But I knew the first thing I wanted to do, didn't want to do this. I just knew if I reach out to somebody and talk, let someone hold space for me, and that's to say it's someone I love and trust and can call and say, hey, can you just listen? That's it. Don't coach me. Don't problem solve for me. And I'm very clear when I call and I say, hey, can you hold space for me? Because we are fixers. Humans are, my friend doesn't want me to feel the way I was feeling. So this happens with our kids. I don't want you to feel that way. I want to protect you from your feelings. I want to take those feelings away. But I don't want that. I wanted someone to hold space while I felt whatever I was feeling and just be like a safe container for me to like bounce around in. I've also heard a term like a fence, like a safety fence, so that, a play yard fence, so that like I can play and thrash about, but I'm not going to go outside of this fence. It's just going to hold the space. Okay, so the first step I did was acknowledge my feelings. Then I reached out for support, which is an uncomfortable step. Is that just me? Does that feel uncomfortable to you to reach out when you're in the middle of your crap? All the crap's bubbling. Do you reach out for support? I will say traditionally I haven't. That is definitely something that's really new for me. Normally I like to be at a certain point in my feelings before I'll reach out. Like not the messy, ugly cry that I was in yesterday. And I chose different. I said, okay, this is really uncomfortable, but I know if I reach out, I'll start to feel better. And I reached out and I said, hey, this is where I'm at. Can you hold space for me? And the people that I would reach out to would say, yes, of course. So it's really just about holding the space and being in there. Yeah. So then I did something really far out of my comfort zone, which I don't know that I would normally say I would do, or even maybe suggest. Like it was definitely far out of but I did my Facebook Live. But what I noticed in my Facebook Live is I was processing stuff verbally out loud with an audience. So it was some more reaching out for support and not judging myself for it. And I think when I called my friend and when I did the Facebook Live, those are two really important parts, is that I didn't judge myself for how I was feeling. Is that just one? There was another thought I had. And I just let it out. So I was just working through it, letting it out, working through it, and not judging myself for that. Yeah, too. And then the rest of the day, I said, what do I need? What do I need for me today, no matter what? And I canceled a really important meeting, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to cancel it because it's an important meeting. And I said, okay, what can I do? I said, I'm going to cancel this meeting. I'm going to be transparent and say, this is why I'm canceling it. And here's what we can do. Instead of meeting, let's message each other and catch up, that sort of thing. It was with my team. And as a leader, I'm going, oh gosh, I shouldn't have canceled. And at the same time, I said, but I'm modeling the behavior I want with my team. So canceling was the right decision. And I'm going to set the example here and say, this is okay. And we're still getting work done. We're still moving forward. We're not just completely abandoning things. And the other thing I needed was to rest, which I did. The other thing I needed was to have a different call, have a different meeting with a client, because there's some outstanding stuff. And I knew if I had this meeting with this client, it would wrap things up and I would be in an energy of completion, which always makes me feel good. Does that are you the same? Do you notice when you have things outstanding, it feels like a weight, versus when you complete, you're like, Oh, God, that felt good. Like it feels lighter. That's for me. I don't know if that resonates with you too. So, all of this to say, and I haven't timed myself on any of these 10 minutes, but I'm usually around the 10-minute mark, but I feel like I'm going on a little bit longer than normal today. But those are really the steps. And notice the back and forth. I was in my being. How am I feeling? How do I want to feel? Take an action. Okay, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to talk to someone. I'm going to do a Facebook Live. Okay, I'm back into my being. How do I want to feel? Okay, checking in, present. Oh gosh, yes. I think that, oh, okay, I'm present and I am going to cancel a meeting. Okay, take an action. I want to rest. Come back to my presence. I'm going to take this client meeting back to action. And then I came back and I rested and I made dinner and I felt really good. And then I took a dance class. And that's another life for another day because it's so far out of my comfort zone. And I was all by myself, which was good and not good. So it's not like if I'm in a crowd, I can like hide in. But anyway, we'll talk more about that another time. And then I took a dance class and I burned some, get my heart going and some endorphins. I didn't say burn calories, but that didn't really drive anything. It was really the pumping of the blood and the endorphins that supported my mood as well. And I realized at the end of the day yesterday, I really did a nice reflection and said what worked and what didn't work about today. And for as emotional as I was yesterday, the whole day worked. And the number one thing I did was allow everything to happen. I allowed all of my feelings without judgment, which is what I've been talking about. I took what I would call aligned action, which means my feelings first and action second. And I reached out for support, which is I talk about all the time. It's so important. And I notice like it's definitely something I can work on for sure. And we're all a work in progress. I am a work in progress. I'm always learning. So I hope that supports you. And if you're ever like wake up face down in the arena, knee deep in your own crap and feelings and emotions, and like really taking the lessons and I'm lucky it was a day or not lucky depending, but it was just one day. And I'm like this morning I woke up and I'm like, wow, it's just a night and day difference from yesterday. And I get to still be present with my emotions and how I'm feeling every day too. So that's all I have today. I noticed I got some comments. Hi. Oh, hey Kim. No, crying is too hard. Yeah, like, and what if you reached out to someone while you were crying and just messaged and said, "Hey, I just want to cry with someone." I have a friend, when my mom was first diagnosed, she called me and she goes, "If you just want to cry with someone, call me. I'll cry with you." And I was like, that was the weirdest invitation I've ever had and beautiful because there's something about that too. Some shared experience that we have together. And we did it a couple times and we just got on the phone and like talked a little bit and then just was emotional with each other. It was uncomfortable, but it was really beautiful too. So Jenna says yes. So Jenna reaches out when she's in and she says, sometimes I have a hard time because I create a story about being a bother. Oh, Jenna, thank you for saying that. Me too. Oh God, I'm being unreasonable. I need to be different. I start shooting all over myself. And I say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just allow. And the story that I tell myself, and Jenna, I know this is true for you. I love supporting people. I love when someone calls me and says, Jessica, can you hold space for me? And I say, I would love to hold space for you. Yes. And so I remind myself of that. I love it. Other people want to do it for me too. I'm not the only person who gets to hold space for other people, right? Yeah. So I love that you said you're creating a story too, by the way. Beautiful language. Like, notice it's just a story because it's not the truth. The story is not necessarily the truth. That's a fictional. No, wait. I always get those two confused. Yeah, it's fiction. It's fictional story. I always get fiction and nonfiction confused. Don't ask me. Hey, Michelle. Good morning. Yes, almost cried. Almost called you yesterday and was going to ask to listen, but didn't want to bother you, so I didn't. Oh, I love you. Thank you. There's another story about being a bother. Isn't that really interesting how we make up those stories? We're the first ones, and I know, Michelle, you too. We're the first ones to jump in and say, call me, let me support you. I want to be the supporter of you. And when we need the support or we want it, maybe it's just the desire. We don't even need it. We just want it. We hesitate to reach out.